Hi, I'm Tom. This is Lucy. And this is Kitty Help Desk. So today I just have a website I'd like to promote. Not my website, doesn't have anything to do with my services, but a website that I often refer my clients to. Catinfo.org was created by a veterinarian, Dr. Lisa Pearson, and its entire purpose is to present information about feline nutrition. There is so much misinformation and bad marketing out there that most cat caregivers have no idea what they should be feeding their cats. Most people feed their cats a mix of wet and dry food. And that's okay if that's what you can afford. If all you can afford is to feed dry food, that's okay. But if you can afford to feed better foods, you're much better off feeding an all wet diet. And that's part of what's covered on this website by Dr. Pearson. If you go through the site, you'll see that there are various sections. Each section is dedicated to a different subject. You can use a search. You can find information about anything that you want to find. The only thing she really doesn't do is she doesn't tell you buy this, not that. There are a couple of sites out there, and I'll put a link to one of them down in the show notes, where they do rank wet cat foods. There is a woman who has spent a lot of time going through and evaluating the nutrition claims on a variety of canned cat foods. And she ranks them, and she hasn't updated the site for a few years, but this isn't a market that changes frequently. So a lot of the things that she has on her list are still available and hopefully are still made the same way. Sometimes they might not be, but at least it's a place to start. And just finally, I would like to also make mention of a site that's run by Susan Thixton, who is an activist in the pet food space. She created a site called truthaboutpetfood.com, where she really challenges the pet food industry to step up and present their information with lots of transparency. They obfuscate a lot of information, even on labels. When you read a pet food label, and I have a video about that, when you read the pet food label, there's not always a clarity of what those ingredient names really are. They sometimes make up names to refer to particular things, or maybe a range of things that could be in the food. And that's unfortunate, because it means you don't really know what you're getting. I mean, we've seen rendering plants, and Susan could tell you about this much better than I could on her site, but we've seen rendering plants where they're taking roadkill, they're taking diseased cattle, all this stuff, and turning it into pet food. That's not really something I really want to be feeding my cat, but it's impossible to know whether I am or not. And that's really where Susan comes in. She's trying to force these people to step up and really take responsibility for their businesses. And I applaud her. I think she's doing great work in the field. And there have been some changes that have come about because of her activism. Unfortunately, those changes are very, very slow to come. But they are coming little by little. She even challenges the FDA because the FDA really doesn't do its job when it comes to pet food. The FDA is not addressing these problems, and the pet food industry is largely self-regulated. And that brings me back to catinfo.org, because what Dr. Pearson is trying to do on her site is to present clear and objective data in regards to what kinds of foods are best for cats, and then what other foods you might feed that maybe aren't the best but could still be okay. That's really the information that we need in order to make informed decisions. And so I think with all of these kinds of sites, that you just need to treat it like a buffet. Take what you need, go in, find the information that you need, and believe me when I tell you that these are trustworthy sites. These are not sites that are in the pockets of the big pet food manufacturers. There are not companies like Purina or Hills that are trying to pay veterinarians, in this case Dr. Pearson, to present their products at a high level. She's not taking any money for any of this stuff. That's, that payment, it's one of the reasons why I really feel like veterinarians shouldn't be selling pet food at all. But this whole prescription diet thing is kind of a scam, because there's nothing in those diets that should require a prescription. But what has happened is the manufacturer has found this to be a clever niche for those products that promote particular kinds of health, or particular treatments for maladies or things like that. And so they've labeled it as prescription diets, and they've enlisted these veterinarians who are really trying hard just to stay in business. And because they get, a portion of the profits from those sales, they're more likely to recommend those things. So I don't recommend buying any cat food from your veterinarian. But certainly involve your veterinarian in the decisions about what to feed your cat, and talk to them about it. And even bring a can or two of the foods that you feed them when you go to the vet. Or, if you have a house call vet come and visit you, it's right there. Just show them, here are the foods. What do you think? And they'll tell you, they may be reluctant at first, but they will generally tell you whether these are good or bad and help you to make a better choice. So I hope you find that helpful. Please visit that site, catinfo.org, catinfo.org. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.